tractor with, and 2 deer ran out and just jumped right on her car.
Thank you.
Nothing to do.
Nope.
Cub bear got hit today.
Aw.
Let me know when we're all set.
I'm the crazy person that breaks for the quail, so I don't like when animals
I
get
did
big.
that.
No, don't do it.
I don't swerve very far either.
No.
'Cause
I don't
whatever-
swerve, but I'll break.
Oh, I will too. No, maybe not for a quail.
For
They are
quail?
wild.
I'm certainly
don't
not
wanna-
for a
I
dove.
don't wanna
They're
hurt
living
them.
animals.
Certainly not a crow.
The meeting will come to order. Let the roll call show that all board members are present. Our first item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve the agenda.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the agenda as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? No, the motion passes. Our next action is the Pledge of Allegiance. Mr. Rutkowski, will you please lead us?
Dr. Rick.
Yes.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We now have on the agenda a public hearing on the budget for 2022-2023. We will first suspend the regular meeting in order to conduct this public hearing. I will go ahead and make the motion that we suspend the meeting for the budget hearing. Do we have a second?
I second.
We have the motion and the second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? There's no opposition, so that motion passes. We are now in our hearing for the budget. I do believe, Dr. Jagodzinski, you have some information for us on the budgetary updates, correct?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you. Madam President, members of the board and guests, tonight I'm going to share some information on some of the changes from the proposed budget to what we're looking at tonight would be the adopted budget. We've had a change with our business manager is no longer here in Fountain Hills and resigned at the end of June. And so we are in the process of hiring a new business manager. So I'm filling in here and being new in this position. I learned a lot this week about where we're at and where we're going. And so I've done some work this week to ensure that our numbers are correct and that I can give you an explanation of where there were changes from the proposed budget to the adopted budget. So on the screen up here, you'll see that I broke down the categories from on the left, the proposed, and then you can see what the new adopted numbers are, what the change is, what page that is on your packet, and then what we believe to be the reason for that is also there on the right. So the two biggest changes are with the M&O budget limit. As you can see that both the M&O and the unrestricted capital both increased as a result of the legislative increase with the change to student-based level. So for our district, the change was $329.74 on that student-based level. So taking that, we're waiting on legislative action, waiting for new numbers, and when we factor all that in, what we propose, which is always a cautious number to make sure that we can operate within that budget. And now looking at that and taking in those increases of what we were given, you can see that the M&O budget, there was an increase of $359,000, and on the unrestricted capital, an increase of $778,000. So although these are good changes, at the same time, we have very, very serious needs in the district of both M&O and capital. And while this will help, we still have a long way to go to get where we need to be. Any questions I can answer based on
Just a question on satellite funding. This probably goes back over years, and I'm just catching up on some of this, but do we get any satellite funding from EVIT at all in our programs that we've offered in CTE?
I'm not aware of that at this time, I apologize.
No, that's good.
Something I can look into though.
Yeah, I'm just curious about that.
I can answer, when they were at Four Peaks, it was a break even. Like, pretty much what we had agreed to, the student count of what they were going to pay us was kind of like equaled out. Now, for students that go down to the Mesa campus, I don't think we get very much from them either.
Well, we won't get, it has to be a satellite program, which is local.
Yeah, then, no.
Okay. Thanks. Here, write that down as something.
Any other questions? Okay. We do have space in the budget hearing for any public comment. I do have a comment card here or a comment request from Madison Reed. So Madison, you can come up. Because this is the budget hearing, comments are restricted to questions about the budget.
Okay, perfect. First of all, I wanted to thank you guys for having it kind of an open discussion forum. Is that usual?
It's by law.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's awesome. Okay. One of the things that I wanted to ask about is there was a meeting a while back where Catherine King, the finance director, talked about the declining enrollment. She talked about the M&O budget and how that number was shrinking, and then she said it's absolutely due to declining enrollment. And she gave us the projection that by, I think it was 2032 or something, there was going to be 686 students. So I wanted to know what actions or plans we have in place for hopefully boosting our enrollment and getting some of that money back into our budget to grow the budget that way.
That's a really good question. I don't know that that is
That's not
pertinent
part
to
of
this
the budget.
particular topic of the budget, unfortunately.
Okay.
So we can definitely take that as an agenda topic
Okay.
that we'll put in a future board meeting, because I'm sure you're not the only representative of the community who has that question.
Okay, and I can email these questions as well if more of them are not.
Okay.
Correct, okay. And then I wanted to ask about the school facilities board and how many projects we have lined up to be submitted for the application process for the school facilities board. Is that something that?
If it's not on this paper, it doesn't pertain to this.
I know that those
It's
are
only
kind of
this paper.
budgetary questions overall, but unfortunately it has to be like, can you explain why this number should be to that number? That's
Yeah.
kind of
Okay,
what the
I'll
budget
probably
is.
go through and ask these anyway, and then I'll just.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay, that's fine. I appreciate that. One of the main reasons I wanted to ask about that is because I have offered my help to John. I reached out to him and just let him know that I'm available to help submit applications. And he was working on getting me a list of what we were gonna submit, and I haven't seen it yet, so I was just trying to help get as many in as possible, because I remember that Patrick said that it was kind of first come, first serve. So I'm available to help fill those out. The other thing I wanted to ask about was programs and funding available for the CTAE programs that were talked about, as well as community sponsored and funded clubs. I didn't know if that was something that, community members, maybe own businesses can sponsor a club that maybe has to do with their trade or their skill. I thought that might be something we could look into. Because something I've heard from students is just a lack of programs, that's why they're going elsewhere. So that was just a thought. The other thing was the PTO. I've gone to several of their meetings, and I hear how much they're involved with helping teachers with supplies and things like that. And I was wondering if that's something that we could get officially involved in the board meetings, because I know they're very involved on the ground. And the other question was if there's an active campaign to the community to ask for their tax credits, because that's something that I think a lot of people just aren't aware of, and that I think a lot of people would take advantage of if they knew that it could help the schools, and offer programs to the students. Thank you.
Thank you, Madison.
None. And I did want to let you know that we are going to have a retreat at the end of July with Dr. J. So a lot of those questions and like where we're going in the future are going to come up in that retreat. So It is.
Yes.
And any board meeting, unless we're in executive session, is always a public meeting.
But that being said, we talk, like.
Yeah, it's not a discussion.
Same deal where you man-made, so you can observe, like a fishbowl.
But yes, the topics, the items that you provided, we can definitely include those as potential topics for discussion in that meeting. Yeah. All right. Do we have any other public comment about the budget? No? All right, I will go ahead and move that we reconvene our regular meeting. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of reconvening the regular meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? No, we are back in action for our regular meeting, and we move on to the consent agenda. That was provided to us as an addendum. There are 2 items in that consent agenda. Contracting with Dr. Robert Allen for work in our business office, and then our personnel action report, which has a couple of new employments listed on it. Are there any questions or comments about any of the items on the consent agenda?
Good to see Mr. C's coming back.
Okay, do we have a motion then to approve the consent agenda?
I move that we approve the consent agenda as presented.
I seconded.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the consent agenda, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? No, the consent agenda passes. We then move on to our one and only action item, which is discussion and action on the proposed budget. Obviously, we just had our second budget hearing, but I will double check and see if anybody has any questions or further discussion on the budget. Okay, hearing none, I will go ahead and move that the board approve the budget for 2022-2023 as presented.
I seconded.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor of approving the presented budget, please say aye.
Aye.
Are there any opposed? There is not, so the budget passes. Future action, if you have an item that you would like to see on a future board meeting agenda, you can reach out to Krista. Dates of upcoming meetings, we do have that board retreat open to the public here on Wednesday, July 27th at 4 p.m. And then on Wednesday, August 10th, we have our next business meeting, that is 6 p.m. With that, I move that we adjourn.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? No. We are adjourned. Thank you.
All right.
Now I gotta decide.
Well, safe travels if you go.
Thanks. Thanks, Krista.